Now he's back.
I'm back. Sorry, I forgot to turn off the phone. It's been the obvious storyline is whether or not Winnipeg's going to be able to run the football, right? Like they always want to host a West final, and previously against BC that wasn't good against the run. Like Brady Oliveira had the ability to take games over, but he hasn't done that against a Saskatchewan front that is so good against the run. Like Micah Johnson has turned back the clock on his career. The guy's playing awesome. That front six has done such a good job. Weather's not going to be a factor, so there might not be the premium on it. And when you look at the 3 games this year, Brady Oliveira hasn't had more than 50 yards, right? So, can they get Oliveira involved different ways of getting him out of the backfield? I'm sure they'll try. Zach Collaros has run the ball more than he has, I think since 2014, like his big MVP year or almost MVP year before he got hurt, kind of his breakout season. So, I just think that, can Winnipeg find a way to establish that is the storyline for me. And then, if you look at the other side of it, can Saskatchewan take the ball away like they've done against everybody, right? Like 25 interceptions plus 26 in the turnover margin during the regular season. And then you've got Winnipeg. So you look on the surface and you can see Collaros has had 15 interceptions this year, second in the league, but he's only had 2 since Labor Day, right? So can he continue that trend, or will the Riders find a way to take the ball away, the obsession with possession, like Corey Mace likes to call it?
Hey, Farhan, along that lines, interesting when the rosters came out today, obviously the Riders losing Reed is a big deal on the O-line, but it allowed some flexibility to add Lanier to the D-line. 8 defensive linemen on the roster for the Riders, only 6 for Winnipeg, which surprised me in a game that I think is going to be battled on the line. Do you think that has some type of advantage once you get into that fourth quarter?
Yeah, to a point. Like, depending on how comfortable you are in your rotations, I've seen the Lions dress 8 and 9 defensive linemen at some point. Not as good as Saskatchewan's, mind you. But, it doesn't always play out. Some teams just prefer to get certain guys into a groove, like the Bombers do with Willie Jefferson and things of that nature. So, does it help not having Micah Johnson in a game for half a game? I don't think so, right? I don't know that you want to necessarily lean into that rotation that deeply. But, so much of it comes down to what you do on first down, because that determines the packages you're forced to play on second down based on the situation. So, look, Lanier's a really good football player. So to get him in the game is a positive thing. But I do wonder about what that offensive line is going to look like in Saskatchewan. Peter Godber's played a lot of games at center, but moving Trevor Reed, and now you've switched both tackles, right? Because they've moved the right tackle to the left side, and then Ferland goes to play in the right tackle spot. I know he's been there a couple times before, but normally he's a guard. So if you're Willie Jefferson and you look at that and you've got some guys that maybe have done it a little bit, not exactly in the same spots they're going to be, is that something Winnipeg can take advantage of?
Do you think we see somewhat the same game plan that the Riders went as far, and I know different teams, you scheme different, you pivot different quickly. Do we see Armstead running the ball maybe a little bit more than we did against BC?
I don't think so, to be honest. I think that AJ Ouellette is what this team wants to lean on. Having the changeup is a nice thing. If Ouellette struggles inside, might they try to get Armstead on the edge? I mean, I'm sure they'll try that. Mark Mueller's pretty creative, and he doesn't want to leave a lot of bullets in the chamber, but I do think that AJ Ouellette, not just in terms of the physicality of his running game, but how effective he is out of the backfield. I think he can cause some problems. One of the things with Trevor Harris is he struggles against quarters coverage, 4 deep, off coverages. And the Bombers play that more than anybody else in the league. They play that like over 63% of the game. And if you go back since 2022, Trevor Harris has 5 touchdowns, 13 interceptions against quarters coverage. So when that happens and teams are playing off and you've got to get others involved, getting AJ Ouellette involved in the screen game and that kind of thing, and as a check down guy, I think he can be pretty effective.
I was just going to say, right, then I'd go to screens, I'd go to swing passes, a lot of draws, shovel passes underneath, anything, right, if they're playing back on that. On the other side of the ball, right, like that's kind of what Winnipeg has done to us. And if we're going to play off, they're not going to run the ball then. They're just going to, for lack of a better term, dink and dunk. They're going to go with that short stuff, which is almost like a running play, but it is the quick little pass. Do you see that changing at all from Winnipeg's side? I guess it depends, right, on how Saskatchewan's playing it.
Yeah, and I don't know that you're going to see Saskatchewan play as conservatively. as Winnipeg will. I do think that Saskatchewan's going to take some chances. They're a little more aggressive by nature. But, when you look at, I call it small ball, but we're talking about the same thing. Winnipeg is very good with their crossers. They're very good with, those Sally plays where you bring the slot back out, the backside of the play and get him involved there. And so they're comfortable in that world. I think they can play that way. And that's also one of the reasons they've been able to keep the turnovers down in the second half of the season, because they've gone more to that approach. It's led to fewer big plays. It's led to fewer just explosive days on the whole. I think they've only had 2 days where they've been above 30 points since Labor Day, right? In terms of their offense. So they're comfortable in a low scoring game if it goes that way, because they've got to play underneath. But I just don't think Sask is going to play that way. I just think Corey Mace is going to want to get after it a little bit. They're not going to have to blitz to do that, but I think you will see some different coverage looks and some other match concepts that allow them to be a little more aggressive in the secondary.
Hey, Farhan, obviously great weather for this weekend. What's the wind looking like? I know that was a big deal for special teams with Saskatchewan last week in the punting game that gave BC, really short fields. Is it, obviously nice and sunny, no snow, but what is the wind looking like for tomorrow?
Well, no wind yet. I'm just looking over here at the uprights, and it's just kind of fluttering. Let's take a look right there. Can you see in the uprights? Can you see? Yeah. They're kind of vertical, but it's just fluttering a little bit. So right now there's not much wind at all. But there is expected to be winds up to about 20 kilometers an hour tomorrow.
Oh, not bad.
But I'm not sure at what point in the game those are going to come. So, look, when the fact that we're playing this game a week earlier than usual, who would have thought it would have had this kind of an impact? But truly, weather is not going to be a factor tomorrow, guys.
I feel like we could golf this afternoon in Regina.
Oh, you could golf. You could golf.
If we could get a tee time.
Get out there and golf.
Are the courses even open out there, guys?
No, unfortunately, they're not.
Otherwise, golf and a Western pizza, what better could you do for a day?
How much is experience? Do you play on experience all that much as coaching and players and something like this? Or is it just athleticism on game plan, obviously?
It's execution, man. Teams, experience allows you to be comfortable in stressful moments, right? That's the biggest thing. I think that, if it gets down to the final 3 minutes of a 1-point game, can experience play a part in that moment? Sure, it could. But for the other 57 minutes, I'm not seeing that. And you just got to look at a team like Montreal last year. They got on a run late, and they played their best football at the right time of year. That wasn't about experience that got them to that point. I mean, Cody Fajardo had never been in those moments. I mean, I know he hit the upright here, in Regina in a West final a few years ago, but he can't lean on that. When you look at experience in this game, I'm not seeing it. I think Saskatchewan has got every bit of an opportunity to win this, despite the fact that they haven't had a ton of the guys in this moment.
So on the flip side of that, Farhan, I'm seeing glimpses here in Regina of a team very hungry to get to that Grey Cup. It's been a while.
Sure.
Is there some complacency that kind of shifts in of, hey, we've done this. Let's just go do what we do. Guys, obviously you like that calm nature, but is there an edge to the riders to kind of have that extra motivation to get to something that they've been sort of shut out of the last 10 years?
Yeah, I think there's probably a little bit of additional hunger there. But look, Winnipeg hasn't won it the last 2 years, right? So I think they draw on that as a level of motivation. And, it's funny how athletes manufacture motivation, because everybody, the wind just came up. Maybe that's going to be a factor. No,
cancel my tea time.
Cancel the tea time. I don't know that you can want it more. Like Winnipeg, for example, has heard the narrative that nobody outside of Winnipeg wants this team to win. And that's true. And they're trying to use that as fuel. And everybody's trying to come up with something that gives them an edge. And if they wind up winning, they'll come with that. But at the end of the day, and I don't want to sound cliche, I really think the best players win football games. And, Corey Mace, as young as he is as a head coach, has still found a way to have success. He's got, when you look at Toronto, when they won the Grey Cup, they came out of nowhere with a staff that hadn't done it before. Like Ryan Dinwiddie, who would have thought he was even going to get a head coaching job that year, and he goes out and wins it his first year, and Mace is his defensive coordinator, right? So when it doesn't always have to play that way. And, at the end of the day, the team that's got the best game plan and the players who are willing to execute the best they're going to be just fine.
What do you think quickly on the other side? What happens in the East?
I just think Toronto's offense is playing at an incredible level right now. And unless Chad Kelly has the game that he had last year where he just hands it to Montreal, I just don't see a way that Toronto's going to lose this game. I'd love to see Montreal win it because it will make for a better Grey Cup in terms of travel and, the number of fans that come and what our television ratings and things like that would look like. But I just think Toronto's offense. Wally Buono told me once, guys, defense doesn't win championships in this league. Offense wins championships. And Toronto has the best offense still playing right now.
Okay, and then last thing, back to the Rider Bombers game. What would you set the line at? Because I know home field advantage, right? There's something to be said there that place is going to be loud.
What is the line right now? I haven't even looked at it.
That's why I'm asking. That's what I'm asking. What would you set the line at?
Lalji's line is Bombers by 2, and I would take the Riders.
Okay, yeah, I went 1.5. I thought it'd be 1.5, so I'll go 2. It's 3. Where I'm looking, they don't sponsor the program, so I'm not going to shout it out. 3.5, 3.5 for Bombers. So I'm hammering the Riders there all day long. Yeah,
noise will matter, but Trevor Harris is experienced and he can handle it. Like I don't think Trevor's going to get rattled by the noise.
All right, it's been a long day traveling for you. You're in Winnipeg. You're wearing blue, so that's. And you said you got to go find a tie.
I won't tomorrow. I won't tomorrow.
Okay. I was going to say, I'm sure you could find a Winners there at Polo Park or a giant tiger at his Winnipeg and get a nice tie.
There you go.
Combo. Okay. Thanks, Farhan. Have a good one. Talk to you next week.
See you, boys.
TSN's Farhan Lalji joining us from the stadium in Winnipeg. It's like the weather. I went outside just to drop something off there to you so you can park. Like, it is so nice out. It's not football weather in November. Take it, though.
No, and I think you'd prefer this weather when you're playing this level of games. You don't want to, go like, that big gust of wind in Montreal, which is an oddity. But you don't want weather to come in to impact games of this. Like Farhan said, let the best players, the best plan, win the game. And I thought then he was, he did pick the Riders, but hey, we had 5 All-Stars. They only had 4, so line them up. Put the chin straps on.
And like minus 40. Football weather, run the ball. It's like, that's not football weather. Right. Are you insane? If it was football weather, they would play the biggest games in the world in that weather. No, they play it in environments controlled.
Why don't you start the season in September then and just run right through February?
I was talking to some guys today, and we were talking about the league, and I said, well, if I get a job interview for commissioner, outside chance, we're push it to May. And there's the one that I heard years ago. Why I should ask Farhan this, I guess, but Luc Mullinder's coming up later. Maybe Scott Schultz it was something to do with out east in Toronto, and why they start it when they do.
They don't like going up against the NHL playoffs, so the TV providers sort of have that in their back pocket. For me, I look at it and I've heard this all. It's too cold in April to start training camp. Well, how many times have we golfed in April versus how many times have we golfed in November? So you're telling me it's too cold in April to play football, but we can play the Grey Cup outdoors in Canada at the end of November? It doesn't make sense to me. To me, I'm with you. I would push it all up. I don't, again, unless you're in the rooms with all of the stakeholders, I don't understand, but it is great. Like Farhan said, pushing up 1 week makes a difference when you get into November.
I think it would. If anything, it would suck for the Saskatchewan, maybe even Winnipeg, maybe a bit Alberta, where farmers are getting buzzing in May. That'd be the drawback here, right? Like when you got to get crop in the ground or get crop off, it doesn't matter what's going on. You're working there. Nothing stops. So it would probably benefit us the least. But then, you're finishing your season. Like I always said, it'd be great to finish it Thanksgiving long weekend.
To me, that's the ideal.
Because the way weather has changed over the last however many years, there's no, like, you're golfing later. Now, we judge everything on golf. It's like you're kind of getting out earlier, and you can easily play golf now Thanksgiving long weekend, where they used to put courses to bed end of September, maybe that first week of October.
Right. And so you're just moving a few weeks. I mean, if they condense the schedule too, but Anyways, it's playoff weekend. I think the Riders, my gut's telling me the Riders are going to have a good day. Get me to explain. I think the 3.5 line is what I would have expected. Home field advantage for the team that's gone 4 years in a row.
How many points are scored in the game, do you think?
Well, what I'm hoping is it's more like that 19-9 game. So I think if the Riders are going to win, it's both teams running, punting, field position, grind it out type of game, and sort of we win in that 24-19 type of a score. What's the over-under?
48, where I'm looking.
So
I would see it like that seems low to me, but
it does.
Both teams get running. Both teams get running. There's going to be a lot of play action, and then the defenses are, especially the Riders. The defense is good. So I don't know if I touched that. I don't think I touched the over under on this one. I definitely take 2 units and ram it on that -3 or +3.5 for the Riders. That line. I might even put 1 on the money line. It just went outright.
Oh yeah, I think. Yeah, the extra half point there is very tempting because to say like if this is going to be more than a field goal game at the end. To me, my gut feel is this is going to be grinding it out, and if it's more than a field goal, I'll be surprised.
And the other one is Montreal -1.5 against Toronto, so a lot closer. And
lots of respect.
I agree with Farhan. I except that crowd and those bloody horns in Montreal, like it's loud, it's annoying. Toronto's playing good.
Toronto's playing really good.
And Montreal's looked sketchy at best the last month.
Yeah, and it's hard. Like when you're up that much, it's hard. Like they came and played for real that last game. And, us Rider fans watching at home, we're glad they did. But it's hard to manufacture that type of a feeling when you've wrapped up first place for 5 weeks. So it'll be interesting to see how that sharpness that you need, right? That Toronto's showing. Like Toronto looks like clockwork.
Yeah, and turning it on and off. It's not a switch for Montreal. It is the All New SportsCage. Still more football to talk about. Hardy Cup, Huskies and Rams tomorrow in Saskatoon. That game is on CKRM2. So just go to the website, find CKRM2 pregame show with Brendan McGuire and Derek Bidwell at 12:45. Kickoff at 1 o'clock. We'll talk about that when we come back. If you're watching that stream, sportscage.com on YouTube, hit the subscribe button. It is the All New SportsCage on the home of football in Saskatchewan, 620 CKRM. Quick rundown of things that going in and around the area for you tonight. Hockey under the orange top at the Brandt Center. It is the Brandon Wee Kings and Regina Pats, 7 p.m. puck drop in Moose Jaw. Lethbridge is in town. Saskatoon traveling into Kelowna. Edmonton's at Medhat. Red Deer's at Wenatchee. Everett at Tri-City, Calgary, and Seattle. SJHL, the Southie Mainline Chrysler worth the drive game of the week, as Benny Walchuk called it. It is Melville and Estevan tonight. Also, we have Yorkton and the Battlefords, Melfort and Flin Flon, Notre Dame at LaRange. If you want anything on the SJHL, if you missed the SJHL report earlier this week, you can go back and listen to it in podcast form. Again, it is for Southie Mainline Chrysler. The new King of Trucks in Southie, Saskatchewan, worth the drive every time right now. They got $20,000 off MSRP on Ram 1500s, Dodge Durangos, Jeep Grand Cherokees, etc. You can call Southie Mainline Chrysler up there. CIS hockey at the Cooperator Center. Dinos and Cougars. Cougars are back in town 7 p.m. tonight. Puck drop 5 p.m. tomorrow. Did you watch the Thursday night football game? I missed it except for the end and the highlights. Cincinnati does it. They go for 2 and the chance to win in Baltimore. So Cincinnati's 4-6 now. They were needed a win, obviously.
Needed a win. Yeah.
But I personally play for overtime. You're not the Cleveland Browns against the Kansas City Chiefs.
I don't know. I think you just maybe watched. Everyone got caught up in Baker Mayfield shaking his head when you lose the coin toss, and you think I have a chance to end it. Why make it a coin toss and watch Baltimore. I guess that you mean it signals you can't trust your defense to stop them.
Exactly. That's
Coach's
what I was
decision.
I was going to say you like a Cincinnati, you have to remember you're a good team. You are not in the same boat as Tampa Bay. I used Cleveland, Tampa Bay against the Kansas City Chiefs.
Right.
You're supposed to be as good as Baltimore. So prove it. Go into overtime. Yeah, it is a coin toss. Well, then you stop them. Show the confidence in your defense. Hey, it's whatever. Because the other thing, when you go for two there, what happened was there should have been a penalty on the play. On the left, I think it was the tight end or left receiver coming in. He gets interfered with. But you can't go offside or you can't have a penalty on you. Then you're hoping that a receiver doesn't slip. Then you have pass interference on the other side that gets missed. And you have you're on the road. It's loud. Maybe there's miscommunication with something. So I just think if I was doing it, there's a lot of things that can go wrong. If we go with the coin toss, yes, it could go against us, but we still have a chance on a number of plays, not just one. That's the way I would look at it. Now, if I'm Tampa Bay and all my receivers are toast in the infirmary,
well, right,
and you're playing the undefeated Kansas City Chiefs, different. Yes, let's go. Let's roll right now. Let's take our chances on that. Cincinnati, though, I go into overtime there and take my chances on winning the coin toss or just having your defense step up.
Yeah, and I like your rationale there. Obviously, it came down to coaches not trusting their defense enough to take that chance. They said, we're better off taking a chance of one of those mistakes happening and us losing than losing a coin toss. Because there's a 50-50 chance you're going to win the coin toss.
Exactly.
So to your point, like
data and analytics,
the math.
Yes.
And I think a lot of times too, the analytics, they'll say like, well, here's your chances of scoring a 2-point convert. Okay, take the situation. This point of the game, right? All the things that are on the line, like your sample size now is so small. And to your point, what are all the bad things that happen in those situations? I would agree with you. I think you're, from just an odds standpoint, you take it, and unless you don't think you can kick the extra point, I guess that's
then you shouldn't be in the league.
All right. So,
but the other thing, and I'm always worried about this, especially if I'm coaching and something like that. All those factors I said, but the one that I always is a receiver slipping. Like, let's say you run a smash out or an in out, or there's different verbiage. I always call it a smash out, right? Which is a great play for a 2-point convert to run. 5-yard line, inside receiver, or smash in, whatever the defender's giving, you can audible out of it there. Doesn't matter. You've seen me do that a number of times. But if that guy slips, or the turf monster gets him, if you're playing on turf, everything is out the window just because of that.
Yeah, or a D lineman gets his big paw just magically and tips it.
Yeah.
Oh, I agree. Like, when you're down to one play like that, the analytics, throw them out the door. You're basically talking about trust. And you either didn't trust your kicker to get an extra point, or you didn't trust your defense to be able to stop them if you lose a coin toss. But you're not even guaranteed to lose the coin toss. So
you're not even guaranteed to lose the coin toss.
Yeah, it is. It's an aggressive play call.
Clutch performer. You ready, Colson? This is on you today. For Nick's Service in Emerald Park, your local Massey Ferguson, Challenger, Rogator, Gleaner, and Fendt dealer, call 781-1077 to talk to the fine folks at Nick's Service. You have our clutch performer today.
Yeah, you heard the name Jamar Chase before?
Sure have.
Yeah, so he had a pretty good game last night. 11 receptions, 264 yards, 3 touchdowns. Figured that, was worthy of a clutch performer.
What a day.
Yeah. I'd put that right up there with one of the best.
That's pretty good. Chevy's boy. Good night for him. Clutch performer for Nick's Service in Emerald Park, your local Massey Ferguson, Challenger, Rogator, Gleaner, and Fendt dealer. Hardy Cup, we're going to talk to that. We're waiting for member of the 2002 Regina Rams that took on the Huskies, Mike Thomas, to join us here in studio. We had Frank McChrystal on the other day. What do you, because you're a Regina guy, you were done, like, when you think Frank McChrystal, what do you think?
Winning. Like, just winning. Just constant winning. I mean, it was fun for me. I didn't play Rams, obviously. Father-in-law's been part of it, but it's like every year it was just constant. You're in that run for not just making the playoffs, for the championship game. And they obviously ran that program with such success for so long. It's hard not to be impressed. And I like that you asked him, if he had thought about coaching at the next level. And I love the answer of, I'm a head coach. No, and it's great. He
didn't lie.
Right. Like, he didn't lie. Like, maybe if he'd been offered a CFL head coaching gig, but that's a pretty big jump from junior most of the career, right?
Because I remember being in Saskatoon for those runs, and it was Dave Hardy before Sarge with the hill toss, but they were always up against the Rams. Like, the Rams just were the better organization, were the better team in junior. But Brian Tauris at the U of S is in the same legendary status. And it was always asked, well, how come Tauris isn't getting a shot or coaching at another level? It was easy for people to say that, but there's a lot of factors that go into play, right? Family, comfort of life.
Well, right. Wade, you're just two completely different jobs and different scales of jobs. So tough. And I mean, even last year, I remember driving home, listening to the post-game show after the last game, the Rider game, and someone called in from Saskatoon and asked why Fleury isn't going to be the next coach of the Riders.
Fleury.
And it's like, that's a massive jump. Like, I don't think people understand the jump from U Sports to the CFL. And you, to make that jump head coach, it would have to be, you need to pay your dues. You got to come in as like a Mueller, right? Who has to slug it out in Calgary for how many years so you get your opportunity to be the coordinator. So, but no, I can't wait for the game. I'm a U of R alumni. My son goes there. My daughter goes to U of S, but it's full Rams for me. And it reminds me back, because U of S, Tauris is like the Rams Hilltops were. Yep. Like, the U of S owns this series really since we, I say we, the royal we, since the U of R made the jump up.
And I'm a Rams guy now, right? Like, I'm hoping, and Mark McConkey's such a nice guy, I am hoping the Rams go up there and hand it to the Huskies. But it's an unbelievable organization. They've done a great job up there, the backers, everything. And they've done a great job down here for what they've had to work with and how it's all worked. So Dave Thomas, I think it was yesterday or the day before, he caught up with former U of S Husky Nelson Lacombo, and they talk about the game and the rivalry and some kind of fun betting going on.
Now, post-game, you told us right away that you had already known what the score was in the Huskies game last week. How closely do you follow along with your former team?
Oh, yeah, I watch every game. I'll just make sure, they got everything, going well for them. And, we got a lot of U Sports guys on the team, so, we like to chirp a bit and talk about, how the season's going and stuff, so, yeah.
Now, you are a BC guy and came into the rivalry. What was that like?
Yeah, no, BCK, and I came in and found my role with the Huskies. So it was just cool to experience, the culture out here, and the community really is involved with the university programs out here, and it's just cool, man. Saskatchewan's always been football, and it shows with the Rider Nation, it shows with the Husky pride, and with the Rams too. So it's cool. It's cool being, just BCK and coming up here.
Now, I asked Mitchell if anything had been spoken as far as maybe a wager or anything, and he said not yet, but he looked directly at your stall. Has anything gone on with the two of you? Or there's a few guys on both sides of this rivalry.
Yeah, we've talked a bit. We have I think shortly after that we talked a little bit about about this game, and got a little something going on. So me and the other boys too with the Rams.
All right, it's going to be a fun weekend of football. Wish you all the best in Winnipeg.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one. Let's take a quick break here. When we come back, we're going to talk more Hardy Cup. Like I said, I'm going to be joined by Mike Thomas, who was in that 2002 Hardy Cup from Football Saskatchewan. It is the All New SportsCage. Watching that stream, you see it. Hammer that subscribe button on YouTube at sportscage.com. Welcome back to the All New SportsCage. It's Barney Shynkaruk, Daren Anderson, and the double C's are on the other side of the board here. We have the Hardy Cup right here on 620 CKRM 2. You go and find it tomorrow. Pregame show 12:45 with Brendan McGuire and Derek Bidwell. Kickoff at 1 p.m. up in Saskatoon. I teased it. Joining us now, Mike Thomas from Football Saskatchewan, but more importantly, Mike Thomas that was on the 2002 Hardy Cup U of R Rams team against the Huskies. Thanks for coming in here, Mike. First off, we're coming right into studio.
Appreciate you. Thank you so much. First time in this new setup. It's quite nice.
Yeah, thanks. It's all Curtis and Colson, to be honest. When you go back to that game, we had McChrystal on the other day, and then now that there's so much talk about it this week, like what immediately comes to mind? Because you probably think about it from time to time.
Yeah, what comes to mind obviously is the weather. And that's always something that where we are in Saskatchewan, that's always going to be a topic of discussion. And as I was mentioning before, like the lead up during the week of practice, it was awesome. It was great. We had great weather in terms of at night practicing. Had great execution, had some wrinkles and some new plays and stuff put in, and it was really good. Like we were feeling really confident. And then woke up Saturday morning and there was about 3 or 4 inches of snow on the ground. And of course, the city wasn't prepared at that time to have the field cleared. So, it was kind of a little bit of a delay with that. And, obviously from us in a footwear standpoint, we weren't quite prepared for that. And of course, it was with the, over at the Old Gal, and the turf wasn't that great to begin with. So, you had to try to get any advantage you could. And unfortunately, we were at a disadvantage. And U of S came up, or down, I guess, and their equipment manager, Andrew Eccleston, had trunk loads of new types of shoes that these guys were out there wearing that had a little bit of extra grip. But again, you still got to play the game no matter what. And it was the moment that stuck with me the most that I've talked about is the fact that, one play that occurred in a game that, I replay in my mind and try to think about, like, how could we have done this differently? And it's, myself and Shane Ostapowicz were receivers on the left side, and we were going towards the end zone, getting ready to score, getting ready to take the lead. And Ryan Barnstable jumped in front of a route and ran it back 110 yards. And I tried to chase him down in the snow, and it was one of those things you just consistently see and remember and think about. So there's been many wins that we've had over the years, championships and all those sorts of things, but it's the losses that you remember the most. And it's a moment like that you kind of recall and think about and rehash with the boys. And so, hopefully, this weekend, great game, great weekend of football, that it's going to be a different outcome for the Rams this season.
Maybe if the equipment manager or you had different footwear, you would have caught him. But and then Neil Hughes was broken leg, right? Yeah.
We had we had some weird injuries that year. Guys got we had another guy break his arm on just on a harmless play. I just got caught up in a pile. Hughesy with his broken leg. Shane had he didn't have good hamstrings on the most of the time, and so those things were really tough because he couldn't really practice a lot during the week. So we talk about guys and Kawhi with load management and those sorts of things and just stuff that teams do to try to help players get back. Like when you're part of it and you've seen it, you understand. But it's also tough on the players, tough on everyone. And we did our best to get things to go as best as we could, but unfortunately it just didn't work out, which is part of the game. And, we learned a lot from it. We still talk about it. And, now these guys, this current Rams edition is getting ready to go to battle tomorrow. And, hopefully it's something that, they don't have to battle that adversity in terms of the weather, which is they can't control. They have the measurables that they can going out on the field, playing, executing. And no matter what, it's going to be a SAS team that's representing us for Can West. I just hope it's
the game could be here, like the game, like the winner hosts. So Rams host, like, whoa, Spiro, get the pizzas cooking because we're coming back to Mosaic.
Exactly. And too, so, obviously you want the Rams to win last week and big upset. Does it mean something a little extra, given what you just said, that they're playing the U of S, instead of going to UBC or somewhere else?
Yeah, it's interesting that you mentioned that, Daren, honestly, because I work for Football Saskatchewan. I'm supposed to be all encompassing everybody in the province and all that sort of thing. But at the end of the day, there's an allegiance, right? I am where I am because of who I played, and so while I would love for it to end in a tie and kumbaya and whatnot, that's not the case, right? Obviously, I would love to have the Rams win. Just like in Saskatoon, my counterpart actually coaches for U of S. And the CEO of the organization, he played at U of S. Whereas in all of us in Regina, we played at U of R. Yeah. So there's a little extra at stake. I think either one of us, whoever wins, might have a little bit of extra on their plate to work next week. So taking over for the other person. But it does mean, it will mean a little bit more for the alumni, for the players, for the city, for the parents, right? And so that's really kind of a big superseding piece that we really kind of look at, is what this can be organizationally, considering what they've had in the past and not so great seasons.
One thing I wanted to ask, and I wanted to ask Frank this, I didn't get to it, but for you, a guy that was this here Regina guy, when that junior football team went to CIS, like, what do you remember about, because maybe you were getting recruited somewhere else or some other guys were getting pulled other ways. How did they come to the local guys and say, okay, here's what the plan is going to be? And then how did you guys buy into that?
When we were making the transition, obviously there were some guys that weren't school guys. Like, they just, they flat out weren't school guys. And so they had to make a decision which way they were going to go or another. And there were some schools that were sniffing, kind of checking to see what the waters were like and if people wanted to be able to make a change, because there were a couple players who the year before had left and gone to UBC. And so they had told those UBC coaches, hey, like, there's a great program back home, you should probably start looking. And Frank and the board and the directors basically told us, if we move on and continue to play like we have been playing, we'll have good things that'll happen to us, right? Let's just worry about what's in front of us. Don't worry about anything else. Let's just play. And so that first year we came in and, we thought we were going to run through things, right? We obviously, everybody comes with confidence, and it wasn't the case, right? It was not the case. But then Frank, Bernie, Paul, all those guys, Birdman, they all went back in the lab and said, like, this is what we need to do. We have to become better in these assets and these specific spaces. And when we came back to training camp the next year, it was a totally different look. Like, yes, the schemes and things were still the same, but the way that we went about business was different, but yet still the Ram way. So it was something that was interesting in the sense that when we were making that transition, but it was one that we still stayed true to who we were.
We only have 20 seconds here. I want to get a quick prediction for you, Riders and Winnipeg. What do you see there?
Riders
what is a football guy and you see and think?
Riders by 4.
Riders by 4?
Yeah. They right now, Corey Mace, he's got those guys going. Yeah. And you can see it. You can tell the way that they are being prepared, the way that they are working this back half of the season. They always say the season in the league starts right after Labor Day. Look at how they've been playing after Labor Day.
Are you going to Saskatoon?
I've got to call the 6A provincial final here in Regina tomorrow.
Yeah, that's what do you go Campbell, right?
Yes.
We got Kelly Adams coming up here in a bit.
Yeah, so I'm calling that one here. So unfortunately, I'll have that on, and I'll have the Ram game on the laptop, calling it, or not calling it, but giving people the updates throughout the game. And then there'll be a bunch of us watching the Rider game tomorrow night. So it's going to be an exciting day of football.
Thanks for coming in. The door's always open for you.
Hey.
Everyone to come in and chat football. Mike Thomas, former U of R Ram, obviously with Football Saskatchewan, big game tomorrow. Like I said, it's time for news. We're going to break. When we come back, the other side, we got Scott Schultz joining us and the NASCAR report. It is the All New SportsCage streaming at sportscage.com. Hour 2 of the program. DA, I told you it was going to blow by. Like, we're already an hour in.
Yeah, I can't believe it. And we got another guest. I guess this is a fun Friday.
There's 5 of us now. Like I said, Brandon Basler is joining us, former 620 CKRM afternoon guy, current host of the Monday Nooner. You can catch him for all your auction needs.
That's right. It's always auction season.
Ritchie Brothers Auctioneer. So he's here now for the next 2 hours. Yeah, we got like I said, we got the full line now. Colson and Curtis are still there. Brandon Regina tonight at the Brandt Center. WHL hockey, that game is right here on 620 CKRM as well with Dante DeCaria. You can catch a puck drop 7 o'clock. SJHL, we ran these down. Melville, Estevan, Yorkton, Battlefords, Melfort, Flin Flon, and Notre Dame in LA to take on the Wolves up there. Talking football. Obviously, huge games tomorrow. We got high school football still to talk about, but let's get back to the Riders. And the Bombers are going to go out on the Western Pizza guest hotline. Perfect pizza, generous amount of toppings, and all the Greek food you love at Western Pizza. It is our favorite Lakeview Insurance rep, Scott Schultz, joining us. There's the smile. I've been watching you on the feed there because I know we keep you waiting for a bit, and I'm like, oh, is he in a bad mood? Is he angry? He can't be. It's a perfect football day tomorrow, Schultzy.
I'm contemplating all of the driving I have to do tonight, tomorrow, and Sunday with my kids' sports. I've got volleyball in Yorkton. I've got hockey in Saskatoon, and back and forth. It's going to be a slice.
Jeez, you're doing the triangle. You're doing the provincial triangle there.
Yeah, you know it.
Riders, we were talking about the line earlier, right? And I think a lot of it has to play on 33,000 people, and it's going to be loud in there, and there is a home field advantage. Oh, yeah. There's no doubt about it. But, Mike Thomas was just in. We were talking about the mojo that the Riders have and just how they're playing, how Mace has these guys playing. When you see this game, you see it on paper before it's even played. Like, what do you think happens, and how do you think this goes down tomorrow?
Oh, it's going to be a rowdy. It's a slaughterhouse out there. I mean, their fans are gonna be doing it and moving it, and but that's the pomp and circumstance of the game. What's going to happen on the field is a fist fight. I mean, it's going to be a back alley brawl, and I love it. I love where we're at. I like what our offensive backfield looks like, and I'm excited to see to open the choke and pull the cord and see these guys go.
How do you game plan against Winnipeg and what they do offensively, and Dembski and Oliveira and everybody there?
I'm telling you guys, it's simple, and it's just old school football. You got to shut down the run extensively, so then you make them beat you with the pass, and our defensive backfield. You know what we've got back there. You've got to push you've got to snuff out their abilities and then use our strengths to cap it off. And I think we've got the team right now on the field to do it. I really do. I look at the last couple of weeks, last 3 weeks, and you see the 2 games with BC and the way that the guys are playing, the cohesion that's there. I'm excited.
So Schultz here, rosters came out today, and I asked Farhan Lalji. I like the fact that we added an extra D lineman to this game, because I agree. I think it's going to be one in the trenches. He sort of pushed back and said, well, are you sharing too much time? What's your thought on that? Is it great to have 8 guys that you can put in, or would you rather the Bombers only have 6, right? They've only got 2 extras sitting there.
You know what, though? It's that whole idea of call off the dogs. Let's get them rotating. Let's get them going through there. I don't want anyone out there that is too exhausted. I want them fresh, and I want them coming after that quarterback. And I think that, if you can get to the quarterback consistently, and you look at Mika Johnson, I mean, CFL All-Star, does it all, but he's not a flash like I'm going to get 10, 12, 15 sacks. But what he does do, and you watch this tomorrow, is he pushes the pocket, and he will get the quarterback off the spot. And that's gonna be one of these keys to the game, is getting them off the spot and getting guys to them.
Maybe I'm crazy, but I feel like I'm the only one this week that said, like, do you get in Colares's grill early? Not with anything cheap, but just every time you're near him, make sure you let him know. Is that something that you would maybe look at, Schultz?
100%, and that's why you got extra D linemen. You never know; one of those guys might be given a vacation. You got to be able to reload. And so, you never know. The refs are going to let the boys play, but definitely, I would, in a way, that you can get there within the rule set, I would get there quick, fast, and in a hurry, and always be in contact with that Caleros.
That's the hockey that you're going up to Saskatoon for hockey. That's the hockey talk. Right. And you're right there. Like it's weird though. And we've been talking about it, like this weather out there. I don't think it benefits either team. Really, I think it is what it is. We're going to see it both, but this doesn't feel like November weather. Even like when you look down to high school and the provincial championships that are going on around the province, like really, it could be cold and a ton of snow right now, but it's not.
I've been in the playoff scene in both high school provincials with myself as a player and as a coach, and as a player out when we played Winnipeg in the Western semifinal. I think it was 04, 03 or 04, one of those years. It was like minus 20, and so you see this weather, and it's golden for me. As a lineman, it's beautiful. Like this is the sweet spot for fat guys because you can just go in this weather. You can go, and it's going to be a grind too, right? So if the linemen can keep their wind and get out there, and I'm excited. I really wish I was there for this game.
So one thing that we were talking about earlier this week too is when they take away the run from Winnipeg. And then they go to those kind of dump passes, right? Just the quick little dumps and all that. Again, how would you game plan against that? Obviously, you want to shut down that run. You kind of got to give up something somewhere almost. How do you game plan that, Schultz?
Yeah, well, there's going to be some deeks and dunks, but how you resolve that on defense is it's the effort stuff. Like, there's room for strategy. That's what these guys do all day, week in, week out. They're looking at the films. But at this point, I'm not looking at Winnipeg as, wow, they're going to come to this game with some crazy strategy. I'm thinking it's more of you got to coach hustle, you coach the effort. You're telling your guys, I need 12 hats to the football. If you're getting 12 guys running to the ball crazy like a bunch of psychopaths as their lives depend on it, good things are going to happen, right? Good things are going to happen. You don't follow your same jersey. You get to the ball, and the ball, in the immortal words of Gary Echeverry, the ball is the issue. And we got to be trained on it.
Yeah, and in that vein, Schultz, I look at this game and a big matchup I see is Dembski, Emelis. And a lot of that, those crossing routes, the kind of, you forget they're there until all of a sudden they're there. Do you see an edge one way or the other kind of on that spot? I feel like they play a very similar role, and how do you take away a guy like Dembski maybe if you're looking at the Riders' defense?
Keep your head up, Dembski. That's all I got to say. I mean, again, it's playoff time, guys. It's effort walk. It's if you don't win, you're going home. So keep your head on a swivel. 12 guys are running to the ball. We all have our responsibilities. I mean, it's not an individual sport. It's a team game. But to a man, you've got to get your job done so that all those 12 guys, it all stacks up for success. And really the name of the game to me is how many times can we give the offense the ball back? I don't care how we get them the ball back. How many times can somebody strap up the chin strap, go out there on special teams or defense and apply themselves so that we get the ball back to the offense?
I just want to know, obviously, it feels like you're picking Riders. Feels like you're thinking the Riders are going to win this. Say they do win. Who do you like in the East? I'm looking at that one as well. Kind of a pick-em, Toronto, Montreal. Who do you think is going to meet in the Grey Cup?
Well, I think we will be meeting Montreal in the Grey Cup, and that will be supreme. It'll be superb because it's going to be the ultimate payback for the 13th man, and I know the boys. There would be nothing if I was still on that team. Through the grace of God, my body was. I mean, that would be what you would. That is what you would be preening yourself for, is to get through this game, of course, and then it's licking your chops to have a good old Montreal lunch meat sandwich come into town.
Former Saskatchewan Roughrider Scott Schultz joining us in his Lakeview Insurance ride there. Okay, now, so let me take this through. Is it Yorkton first tomorrow and then Saskatoon and then back home?
No.
How are you doing the loop?
After this call, I will be trucking 2 kids into Moose Jaw so my parents can look after them. Then from Moose Jaw tonight, I'm heading up to Saskatoon. And then it's 5 a.m. wake up down to Yorkton.
Oh, you catch the chalet for lunch then in Yorkton. Nice little chalet brunch.
Might get some donuts on the way somewhere.
Okay, Schultz, thanks so much. Let's see how this plays out. Hopefully we get to talk next week about the Grey Cup.
Guys, I can't wait. I'm sorry if you didn't get the skillful breakdown. It's all about physicality this week. Go be men, boys. Go be men and take what's yours.
There we go.
Don't forget your mouth guard.
Yeah.
No mouth guard. No mouth guard.
And your jaw. Scott Schultz joining us on the Western Pizza guest hotline. Like I said, Scott Schultz, yeah, he if you need insurance, anything insurance-wise, Lakeview Insurance there, and you can talk to him about football all day long.
Always fun to have him.
He'd be such a good guy to have on your team, wouldn't he?
Oh, he was awesome. The old 96er back in the day. He was great.
Well, watching him get this worked up over a game he's going to watch on TV, can you imagine what he was like?
I don't even know if he's going to be watching it by the sounds of it.
I know. Who knows where
he'll be listening.
He'll be listening. That's right.
On 620 CKRM. If you're wondering how all that plays down, we do have the Rams game, CKRM 2, so you got to go listen to that on CKRM 2, 12:45 pregame, 1 o'clock kickoff. And then as far as the Rider game goes, it's right here. Countdown to kickoff, Croft Electric style, 2:30. Rider Nation pregame show with Dave Thomas and Luc Mullinder goes at 4:30. And then kickoff is at 5:30 network wide. You can have your say, as always, post-game on the call-in show with Wes and Justin. Texts is starting to come in here. Maybe we'd run through some of those in a bit. Roscoe, of course, classic Roscoe. He's been trying to hammer the subscribe button on YouTube. Said took him 24 hours for them to approve his password or something. So we appreciate the perseverance, Roscoe. You're a beauty. It is the All New SportsCage. If you are watching that stream, it's at sportscage.com. And as always, we are on the home of the Rider, 620 CKRM. Be like Roscoe and hit that subscribe button and the YouTube channel. You can watch the stream. Then you're always up to date. If anything pops down or Curtis does any fancy editing and all that, it's always there. You're right there. You go to sportscage.com. You'll figure it all out. Barney Shynkaruk, Daren Anderson, Brandon Basler, CNC Production Company on the other side. It is for Nelson Holmes on Friday. We're going to get into high school football in the next segment, but it is time to talk NASCAR. Sharky's not in, so Crofty is filling in again.
The All New SportsCage NASCAR Report. Robin is Racing is brought to you by Croft Electric. 27 years of trusted, reliable home, farm, and commercial service for all of your electrical needs. Visit croftelectric.com and on all socials.
Crofty, you're not hunting today. You're in the office, on the stream, looking good. See, that's the kind of poppy that I need. I already lost my poppy today. Down one today. Okay, so I don't know where we want to start, but I know where I want to start. Where am I in this pool? You sent a long, convoluted message, some word salad. I read part of it. I'm winning, and there's a chance to have a buyout. Is audio? Can't hold on, Crofty. Let's try again. Is not on our end? Okay, go ahead. No, we're gonna have to get you back. Curtis is gonna figure out your audio. We don't have it, but it's like NASCAR. Have you been to NASCAR?
No, it's on the list. God, no.
No,
you would know if I'd been to NASCAR. Probably, the 10 stories that it would create.
We had plans to go to Talladega. I tell people that all the time.
Oh, if you could do Talladega, Tuscaloosa, like that's a banger trip. That's all time.
You've definitely.
I'm not a NASCAR guy. I might be. I just don't know yet. Right?
It's a blast, boys.
That's how it starts, though. Right? Yeah. Guys go to one, and then especially if you get sprinkling, then you get like really hooked on it. Snipe tells the story about that's how he got hooked on it, and now he's like hardcore. Okay, we got audio figured out now, Crofty. Okay. Back to the word salad that you sent. Do I have a chance? Yes. Have I got a chance to win this thing, or do I got a buyout, or what's the deal?
You have two options because, yes, you're currently tied with Waschenfelder for first, but you both picked the same driver to win. So, therefore, you're going to be tied either way. That driver doesn't win, you're still tied. That driver wins, you're still tied. So, but you both pick different drivers in the round of 4. So my thought is, let's default to those different drivers, and if they win, that gives you the win.
Well, hi. Who do you be my agent here? Be my help.
Well, you have.
Who do I have? It's George Bell's boy.
Yep.
Curtis.
Wash has Byron. You have Blaney.
Blaney. Who do you like better on this Phoenix track?
Which is last year's champion. So
Experience.
that would be good. He won last week, so he's got the momentum going. So I would bet, and
I don't want to buy out.
Likes to sprinkle. He is the favorite.
It was $20. We got to let it ride. Who's this guy? Herman Fleischer? Who's this guy that I'm up against? Okay. Yeah. Well, no, we're letting it ride. We are letting it ride.
Sounds good. Wash, what if you're listening, that's a bet.
That is a bet. I'm no quitter. I'm not quitting unless we're talking. How much money are we talking again? Maybe let me rethink this.
It's enough to buy a couple Western pizzas and a couple pints. Put it that way.
Oh, let's go. How do you see things shaping down this week?
Well, yes, and I don't know if I hope you guys all tuned into last week to Martinsville for like an amazing finish. So, kind of a little backstory. Last year at Martinsville, Ross Chastain did something they called the video game move, which basically he put his car in the wall, put the pedal to the metal, and just rode the wall all the way around and got himself into the playoffs. So they then put a rule in calling that a safety violation for this year. So that got Ross in last year. So it happened again this year at Martinsville with Christopher Bell in a different kind of way. He got spun a little bit into the wall, and instead of hitting the brakes, he did the same thing, put the gas on and went right through. The problem was... Sorry.
You got to explain this to me. Why would a guy want to be riding the wall? How does that benefit you?
Well, just on the very last lap. Like, it's destroying his car. Like, there's no way he could have done another lap. But it was on the last turn, last lap, and as he hit it, he just gunned it, right? And he just literally rode around the corner and all the way. I mean, these cars, you got 800 horsepower, right? And the wall just holds you and kept him going. Now, again, he would have, like, not been able to finish another lap because there's nothing left the side of his car. But it got him up enough to keep enough points to get him into the final round. But then NASCAR came and said, safety violation, pull in all your points. And that put Byron back into the playoffs. Big controversy. Lots of drivers coming out saying they're not happy about the rule. No, nobody's happy about the rule, but not saying they're not happy about pulling the points.
If I didn't like my car so much, that'd be a move to get out of the Brandt Center or Real parking lot after a rider game.
Just ride the
hammer at those cement
big blocks. Yeah,
they got it pretty dialed though, and how they get people in and out of there. That's me being sarcastic. What about this weekend?
So this weekend we're in Phoenix for the final race. The final 4 are Ryan Blaney, Byron, Logano, and Riddick. And that in that order of odds, if you will. Phoenix is a great track. We were actually there last year, me and the Sharknado. It was like 1,000,000 degrees out. We melted on the concourse of that track. Beautiful, though. But yeah, it's a nice dogleg track. It's a very unique track. It has kind of a little dogleg just after the start-finish line where the guys all come down, spread out, and then come back together. There'll be 5 wide racing at times. It'll be an amazing race. I highly recommend everybody tunes in. It'll be Sunday afternoon, so we'll all be hungover from a big rider win. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yes, talk about it. Okay, so I need to find a Blaney shirt or jacket. I'm Blaney guy. Is that my guy?
12 Blaney. Yep.
Okay, I am gonna have to watch this. Money at stake now.
Oh yeah, and one of my brothers got me into it back in the became a big Jimmy Johnson guy. When you get into it, it's nail biting. Like it's exciting.
Yeah.
Like I kind of got out of it, but you're man, Crofty, you're getting me back in. I'm juiced. I want to get a T-shirt. Let's go. I'll pick a guy.
SportsCage.
If I can put a unit on it, let's go.
SportsCage
and that's
NASCAR
the thing
trip
is once
next
you
year.
pick a driver. like it's like picking a team, right? You pick a driver and you start getting behind him, it's the same thing you were talking about before I came on about going to a race. We went to the first race in Vegas, and it was kind of like we were supposed to go there on a hockey trip, and it all fell apart, the hockey part, and we decided, I'll just go to this race. And next thing you know, I'm a hardcore fan. I'm like decorating some trucks up and NASCAR trucks. And
that's how it started for you?
Yeah, legitimately. Yeah.
Wow. Oh, somebody wants lighting.
Yeah,
somebody wants the permanent lighting. Hey, my neighbor around the corner got it done. Croft Electric to do the permanent holiday lighting or whatever.
Christmas lights.
Yeah,
nice.
Well, see, they're going purple and white. It looked so nice, and my kids were like, "Wow, look at their lights!" And I'm like, "I know a guy that does that, but yeah,
we'll get you done." I literally had 4 calls about it today. Guys still want to get it done before Christmas. Guys and girls, for sure, we can get it done. We match it to your exterior. Beautiful.
You ready to see the video game move?
I want to see the video. Yeah, we got to. If you're watching the stream, we got the video game move. All right, here it is.
Yeah, there you go.
This makes no sense to me at all.
Smoke, just crazy.
Like it looks like he's getting chased by the RCMP.
Exactly. So that was Ross Chastain last year. So that's the original video game move.
Wow.
And he did it on purpose. He just came into the corner and sent it, just full speed, as fast as he could around it.
Refrain from the Chastain. That should be the move from NASCAR.
Can you imagine the sound of that? Being there, can you imagine just sitting in that corner and hearing this car just grind?
And that's one of the best things about going to a NASCAR. You'll feel it, you'll smell it, you'll get hit with pieces of dirt and car as that thing goes by. It's amazing.
Why wouldn't a guy? Okay, so then the people can still contact you to get these lights before Christmas. That's the other confusing thing. Or you're booked up.
No, we're never booked up. If you wait till December, it might be a little tough to get them done before Christmas. But give us a call now. We're happy to get somebody out, do a quote. We can give you a quick, lineal foot budget over the phone to kind of at least to see if if it's in the wheelhouse. But we're happy to help in any way, and we have financing if that's
That's what I was going to ask. Do you have financing? Because I was going to say I'll tell Roman and Gabrielle their next couple hockey sticks. They're going old school. And then at least I can get half the house done for this winter. I'll look like a real putz.
Hey.
What if you win this NASCAR pool?
What's his college fund looking like?
Yeah. He's on his own. But that's a good point.
Would the NASCAR pool pay for the lights?
Part of it.
You'd get a few feet.
See? Right on. Maybe I just do that downspout this year. just Crofty, thanks so much, buddy. Always a pleasure. Go Blaney.
You bet. See you, boys. Go Riders.
See ya.
It's Crofty and the NASCAR report brought to you by Croft Electric. Anything you need electricity. And yeah, we are talking about the lights. You see them almost every neighborhood's got that neighbor that's got those lights now.
They're awesome.
So good. I'm so jealous. And the one, it's around the corner. Luckily, it's not across the street for me. But now every night they got a different color buzzing. And I'm like...
Yeah, I got a few on my block now, too. They're becoming the it thing to do.
Green and white, the day of a Rider game, stuff like that.
Go for it. Yeah. I got to say, though, so race in Phoenix, I'm going to tell you the story. So dad on the club basketball team, buddy of mine, they go down for the race. They wheel into...
Avondale.
Right? And they don't really know where they're going. Somehow get into VIP parking, like right in front, the guy said. So they get out. They're like, this can't be real. Right? Like how we're literally just walk in and they turn around, they see all these VIP bags hanging.
Oh, yeah.
And allegedly, they got one of those VIP tags.
Nice.
Left the car there, wheeled in. I'm like, oh, that's a great NASCAR story. That's what I like. Not that we need to be breaking into cars or anything, allegedly, but like we need to go to a trip. Like the atmosphere and everything around it for the weekend, to me, would be phenomenal.
I think this is the weekend to go, the final weekend in Phoenix. Yeah. Like the weather here can be crummy, so people want to get jet down. It's a quick flight. Next year, if we find a travel agent, just do a SportsCage trip. Even if it's like I know football and people like going to that stuff, but a chance to go to a NASCAR. And I think everybody wants to see a NASCAR event live once.
Oh, for sure.
Like I'm not a tennis guy, but I'd like to go to Wimbledon once.
Yeah.
Not a bowling guy. Like to go whatever the Hiram Walker final The Skins game final. It is the All New SportsCage. We'll be back. Time for a break. If you're watching it on the stream at sportscage.com. Oh, yeah. RMP sponsored it all season long. Thanks to everybody who messaged in about their teams and what was going on. Let's start with the big boys as far as school sizes. 6A championship final tomorrow, Mosaic Stadium, 1 o'clock. Regina Campbell, St. Joe's. We don't know anything about either of those teams, but we're going to talk to Regina Campbell's head coach, Kelly Adams, coming up in hour 3. Okay, PA Carleton, Bishop James Mahoney. PA, who do you like there? It's a total stab.
Is that what we're doing now? PA Carleton.
What do you know about him?
Nothing.
I'll take Bishop.
BJM's got a good team. BJM's got a really good
Carleton.
team. Carleton's got a big enrollment, that's for sure. So Melfort, this could be, if I was going to say the Southie Mainline Chrysler worth the drive game in football in high school, it's the 9A final, Melfort Tisdale.
Oh, wow.
Like right down the road from each other. Melfort beat Lumsden convincingly, 63-42, and then Tisdale beat Delisle 38-37.
Wow.
Unreal.
So big rivalry game in the final up north-ish.
I love those
Northern.
games because there's always a guy who has like 6 or 7 touchdowns.
Melfort Tisdale, the Battle of Highway 3, 30 minutes apart. I always thought it was a little bit further than that. That'll be a good one up there. Clavette's a wagon.
Yeah,
Clavette dumped Rosetown 72-36. And then Waka beat Southie Cupar, the Highway 22 Storm. So Waka, Clavette, they go at it in the 6-a-side. But then the bronze medal games in Cupar, 1 o'clock tomorrow. Rosetown and Cupar.
Wow.
What's that?
That's a thing? Bronze medal game?
Yeah, bronze medal game.
I didn't know either.
Yeah, heard the 50-50's already up to $700.
I think they do a 60-40.
Oh, right. It is 60-40.
60-40 in Cupar. What a party tomorrow. Let's go. Highway 22 Storm. And then there's also a bronze medal game in the other 6-a-side. The final is Hafford. This one will be good too, boys. Hafford Hanley. Shout out Helly Hanley. Hanley.
Yeah, for all your helicopter needs.
Hafford used to have a heck of a Ukrainian dance competition. I remember that. Lemberg and St. Brew in the bronze medal game there. Tons of
Exciting.
high school football around the province. The weather is holding up. And then these kids, like I said, I'm going to talk to Kelly Adams in a bit here. These kids remember it forever. Like you remember picking rocks in high school football. Where was it? What, Wilkie?
McClurg. I don't even know if they have a program anymore. Wilkie, McClurg Bronx. What a good team. Never made the bronze game, but we must have been close.
6-a-side?
6-a-side, yeah.
Nice. You play both ways?
Sometimes, yeah. Sometimes.
Nice.
That's fast. 6-a-side's, 9-a-side's fascinating. 6-a-side?
Well, like I was saying before I fell off my chair, a lot of those games, every team had a few studs who would have 6 or 7 touchdowns a game, right?
Yeah.
Got the fast guy in the backfield.
So I heard the story about Clavette. So Clavette won their semi last week. I heard it was tied 36 at the end of the third quarter, and then ended up scoring like 70 points or something. Crazy. Like just...
Yeah, Clavette scored 72 points, and it was like 36-36 in the third quarter or something.
Yeah, and just put the hammer down.
Thanks to everybody again who sent in info. Thanks to Regina Motor Products for sponsoring that Friday Night Lights. We'll run down all the winners on Tuesday on the program if you're watching the stream. Brandon's chair broke.
I've been having chair issues the whole show. I got a new chair. It's Curtis for the new chair. Should be
let's go to break here. So I got to wipe these tears. It's the All New SportsCage, home of football in Saskatchewan, 620 CKRM. Out on the Capital Ford text line, Georgie Porgy hasn't texted in a while. Georgie, we're worried about you. He says, tell Crofty he wants to get some of them lights done out in Pilot Butte. Sure, that's not an issue. Crofty and his crews can get out there, the permanent lighting. Yeah, Georgie, there's probably people out in Pilot Butte. There's some nice swanky houses out there that have them. But yeah, call up Crofty Electric. He'll get that done. Ron and Deb chimed in earlier. I forgot about this, about moving the football season earlier and then ending it and worrying about hockey playoffs. I knew somebody was going to send in. I think there might be somebody else that there's like, Toronto doesn't have to worry about that. Montreal, Ottawa aren't there either, so no NHL conflict. And then Roscoe chimed in again, just that I should staple my poppy on. It's tricky.
Something.
I need the stickers or the one like Crofty had there. I don't even know how he gets that one on. And then somebody did text in about the U18 Team Saskatchewan female. They're at the national championship. Thanks for that. We were following it, and then it went into OT.
Yeah, Saskatchewan actually lost in a shootout to Quebec in the semi-final, so they will play for bronze, just like those high school football teams are going to. Yeah, close one. 2-1.
Is that so? Wow. It was 1-1
all the way through overtime. Shootout was 5 shooters each, and there was only 1 goal, and it was out of those 10 shooters, Quebec obviously. So
that's good job, ladies. That's right there.
Yeah, thanks for the text too. Giving us a heads up on that. I knew it was today. I didn't know that it went into to overtime. Obviously, that was Todd. Do you know who they play in the bronze?
They will play the loser of the second semifinal, BC and Ontario Red. Ontario's got a few teams, but that's tomorrow afternoon during all the other Saskatchewan football content. So
high school, Hardy Cup,
great time
in the Rider game, great time of year. Did you hear that Austin Matthews is on the injured reserve?
I didn't.
Yeah, that came down today too. So Leaf fans, tough one there. The thing we haven't talked about today, and you and I were mentioning this off camera, Calgary getting the Grey Cup. Thoughts on that?
Yeah, I went, 2009.
You used to go to the mall.
Oh, I've been to Toronto. I've been to a few. Calgary puts on a great show. The people of Calgary show up for that, and it's a ton of fun. Toronto, I was in Toronto for the 100th, which was Toronto just, it's Toronto, right? Like the Grey Cup itself was phenomenal. Like everything that the league did, the teams did, but it's Toronto.
Is that the one that we saw each other at?
Yeah.
And we went to the all-you-can-drink thing hosted by Greg Zahn.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was weird. It was really weird. Yeah. It was really weird.
But no, to me, Edmonton, Calgary, Regina, Vancouver. To me, they're
Winnipeg.
I don't like Winnipeg about anything. I don't like anything about Winnipeg. But they'll put on a good show. So that's exciting. I'm glad they're stepping up, and hopefully we'll get to go drive down the Highway 1 and go see the Riders.
Where's the Grey Cup next year? It's 2026 in Calgary, right?
What year? Yeah, it's got to be.
Not next year.
2026 is Calgary.
Yeah.
Yeah. So where does it go next year to?
I don't know.
Sorry.
Colson's got it. Hamilton? No, that was Toronto.
Winnipeg.
Oh.
There you go. Lock your tickets in now, Daren.
Watch it on TV. Go Riders.
So they talk about, you've been to a game in McMahon?
Yeah.
And?
It is what it is.
It needs an upgrade.
It needs an upgrade bad.
It needs an upgrade bad,
like Taylor Field-ish?
Oh, worse.
Really?
Yeah. They don't have the washrooms, which is the weird thing. Like for Grey Cups, they bring in a whole bunch of porta potties, and you had to walk outside. So imagine old Taylor Field putting a fence up kind of outside the stadium and then lining a bunch of porta potties up and having to walk out of the stadium, go to the bathroom, and then get all the way back in. That's an
issue. Because I was thinking about it today, and when we've had Eric Francis on, or Maz talks about it, or anybody, Bidwell, who worked there as well, they talk about it being such a dump when it comes to football. And I'm like, okay, yeah, you probably don't want to host a major game there, but then I'm like, well, then it's just the game. The field is fine. But yeah, if you start going into, you don't have enough capabilities bathroom wise.
Yeah. So, and obviously it wasn't a great outcome for the Riders when I was there. So that taints it as well. But the event Calgary does really well.
I was going to say the Grey Cup is so much more than the actual game, right?
Yeah.
It's the whole week is significantly bigger than the 3 hours of football that happens.
Yeah.
That's the good thing, is the party. Even Winnipeg.
I've been to Winnipeg for a Grey Cup too.
How do they do it though? Because Regina, that's the beauty when Regina hosts it, is everything now can be under one roof.
One big leaky roof.
As many issues as Real has. And
fantastic facility though for that.
To host something like that.
Perfect for the festival. Yeah.
Or Exhibition.
Yeah.
So how do they do it in Winnipeg? Like where I don't know Winnipeg all that well.
The convention center, which is like connected to the Delta, if you know where that is, back behind the rink.
By the downtown?
Yeah, it's downtown, the convention center.
See, that would be an issue downtown.
Yeah. I remember going, this is a long time ago, and I was there for actually something else just happened to be going on, and went to the parade, and it was like minus 40. There was 14 people out watching. Like, it was crazy. But people care. Like, that's the nice thing about Winnipeg. The people there care. It's a big deal to them, so they put on a show. It's just Winnipeg.
Favorite besides Saskatchewan, favorite host that you've been to?
Calgary.
Yeah?
Yeah, it was so much fun. Like the CFL party or whatever, and they had Gore Bamford and Aaron Pritchett, and I dragged my buddy who was like, I don't like this country stuff, and he's like, whoa, this is like fun. I'm like, right, like this is fun. Like picnic tables everywhere, like just that Western feel.
Is it Friday yet?
Yeah, Gordy B. You get the Atlantic one is always good, right?
Schooner
party. But I mean, you get that everywhere. Calgary just like, and they had it, I'm trying to remember, downtown, the Walking Mall, like their Scar Street Mall. I haven't been to Calgary in a while. 8th Street, is it, or whatever? I think it was down in there. Anyways, it was a lot of fun.
I talked to some buddies, though. Downtown Calgary ain't what she used to be, kind of like a lot of downtowns.
Yeah.
It's a lot of companies have packed up and moved down to Texas and Colorado and all that. Maybe they'll come back someday. Who knows? But yeah, so Calgary's getting the 2026 Grey Cup. Tonight, Pats and Brandon at the Brandt Center. If you're looking to take in some hockey, Roger McQueen not in the lineup for the Brandon Wheat Kings. Absolute stud. He's going to be a first rounder this year. Dealing with some back issues. Pats are a scrappy bunch. Have you watched any?
Haven't been there yet. I will get there. Hasn't worked out yet.
That scrappy bunch. They have to earn every point. It's kind of been the thing in Regina for a long. You're earning every point hard. They lost in a shootout the other night to the Prince Albert Raiders. Unfortunate. Their Tanner Howe gives them such a lift. Such a solid player, Captain Howe. So that game goes at 7 o'clock. Also at the Cooperators, we got the Dinos and Cougars, CIS hockey at 7 o'clock. We're getting some audio in from Dave Thomas in Winnipeg. We'll have that in the last hour. Hoping to be joined by Luc Mullinder, and then head coach of the Campbell Tartans taking on St. Joe's in the provincial 6A football final. And then Brandon's here, so we're going to talk senior hockey. It is a busy night, busy weekend, senior hockey-wise, around the province. It'll blow you away how many teams there are in Saskatchewan when we start talking about it. It is the all-new SportsCage. Please, if you're watching that stream on YouTube, like we said, subscribe to that. And as always, we are on the radio on the home of the Riders, 620 CKRM. Welcome back to the all-new SportsCage. Barney Shynkaruk, Daren Anderson, Brandon Basler with you, and the double C's on the other side of things. Again, if you missed anything, you can go back and listen to it in podcast form. Farhan Lalji. We had Scott Schultz. That is always worth the listen. NASCAR report with Dan Croft. You can go back, and Colson has it all packaged up there in podcast form. Still talking to Kelly Adams from the Campbell Tartans coming up in this hour, and senior hockey. Since Brandon's here, we're going to do the Monday Nooner thing and tee up some senior hockey games around the province this week. Tomorrow on, so what do we got? We are about 24 and a half hours away from kickoff in Winnipeg. Luc Mullinder He is in transit, so he couldn't join us on the video stream. He's joining us over the phone today. He is in Winnipeg. Luc, 24 hours out in this game. How are you feeling? What are you feeling? What are you thinking over there in Winnipeg?
I'm feeling pretty good. I got on the bus with the team today and on the plane, and I'll tell you what, man, there's a certain energy about this team today that I think is going to serve them well. They're clearly a prepared team. They're really excited to just get out there and compete. I don't sense a cockiness about them at all, and I think that's where the difference is going to be made. And you don't want to go into this thinking you're just going to blow out a team. But again, I think that the Saskatchewan Roughriders are poised to get a lot of people upset here this weekend because for some reason there's this underdog tone, and I get it. Right, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, they've been feeling themselves for a few years now. But again, I think that the Saskatchewan Roughriders can come in here and get a win.
What are the keys of the game for the Riders as far as Luc Mullinder goes?
Well, I mean, everybody's going to say the same thing, and everybody's going to be right. You got to stop Brady Oliveira. You got to find a way to continue to pound away on the ground. Just get this team and get the Riders' offense into 2nd and 4 to 5 consistently, right? Even 2nd and 5 to 6 consistently. That's when Trevor Harris is his most dangerous. I think that's where you hit them over the top with the big plays if they're available. But again, when it comes to Winnipeg, you just got to stop Brady Oliveira. They cannot come out there and impose their will on our defensive front. And to be honest with you, I don't think they're going to. I think that this defensive front comes in and they're relatively healthy, but they've been playing well, and there's a lot of confidence in them. And I think that the linebacker core, it's been so nice to be able to focus on how good Roland Milligan's been this year. But again, you got to keep in mind that C.J. Rivas has been outstanding. They got C.J. Avery starting again. Adam O'Clair did great, but C.J. Avery, I think he's a little bit better off in coverage. So I'm looking forward to the game, and I think that's where you take Winnipeg out, is you take that Brady Oliveira aspect out of their offense and force Zach to look downfield on 2nd and 7+ situations. I think it becomes a different story for the Riders.
Hey, Luc, Brandon here. I know last week we talked home playoff game about the crowd and what a difference the home field can make. Now going into Winnipeg, 33,000 plus, it's going to be rowdy there. How big does the hostile environment in Winnipeg, how big of a factor is that to the players?
Well, I think that they're excited about it. I'd be excited about it. As a competitor, you want nothing more than to walk into a game in front of a frenzied crowd that's loud, that's boisterous, that's energetic, and to be able to shut them up. I think that one of the keys, obviously, is going to be how you start the game. You've got to start fast. If you're the Saskatchewan Roughriders, you got to be able to manage your emotions. But more importantly, again, I think that they're probably pretty excited about that aspect. Communication has got to be different, right? So what you guys are going to see on TV or what we'll probably talk about on radio is you'll probably have a lot of hand signals from Peter Godber in terms of when the snap is about to come. That hand signal will probably be extended so the guards and the tackles can see. But again, you only have to deal with that noise for a little bit if you do take them out of the game, right? And I'm talking about their crowd. So their crowd will quiet down. I've always said this about Winnipeg, and especially their fan base. They're a bunch of front runners, right? I remember coming in here having going to a game and the cab drivers not knowing that there was a CFL game, right? Or talking to people in Winnipeg in the mall or whatever, and having them really just crap on their team, right? Oh man, those guys suck, blah blah blah, and it's been nice for them to be able to become the belle of the ball. But again, I think they're a bunch of front runners, and if you take the crowd out of it quickly, it takes a lot. I think it'll take a lot for them to re-engage. You don't want the broadcast team to become a distraction and give any billboard material, but the competitor in me looks at this game as a great opportunity.
I've been to a mall in Winnipeg, Luc. Those people aren't watching football. I'll tell you that much. Go ahead, DA. I don't even know if they're with us, really.
Hey, Luc, yeah, so what players are you looking at specifically from the Riders side that, to need to have big games? And obviously, take Trevor Harris out, the big heads, but who are you looking at with this matchup that the Riders need to step up?
Oh, I think it's the same as last week. I think you need the running game. A.J. Ouellette played great. You need A.J. and Reichwell to run hard, and I think that one of the guys that you want to step up is somebody on the edge of your defense. I think that you've got Haba Baldonado, you've got Malik Carney, and you've got Brian Cox Jr. I think that one of those guys, if they're able to provide consistent pressure, especially when we're in 4-man fronts, I think that that'll be huge. Again, you don't want Zach Collaros going back to 2015 and running out of the pocket and extending plays. You want to keep him in the pocket. But again, if you're able to pressure him a little bit and get to him consistently, I think that he will throw the ball to one of your good DBs. So again, I think that if you're the defensive ends, you look to them to step up, and you just look to continue the success on the ground game that you had last week.
They bring Lanier back in. And, he's in. Are you worried maybe a little bit that Miles Brown is banged up more than we know or more than they're leading on?
Yeah, for sure. I think that's a big part of why Lanier's on the roster, and that's okay. Lanier is a veteran, and he is not playing in the role that I'm sure that he had set out for himself at the beginning of the year, and that's okay, because when you're a veteran and you get an opportunity, especially in the playoffs, to prove your worth, you jump all over it. So I actually expect him to have a great game. He's healthy. It's not like he's banged up. So if Miles can't go, then I think that Lanier gets in there and steps up. I'm excited to see him play. I know that he's excited to be back on the roster and back on the plane. So, again, let's roll.
Hey, Luc, when I dream about these games, I guess, or run them through in my head, how do you stop a Nick Dembski? It seems like he always seems to be able to make that play when, all the momentum's going against Winnipeg, and he seems to be that guy. Do you focus on him?
Yeah, no, you don't focus on him because they don't actually need him when the game's played. They look to him when there's a situation that they need to get themselves out of. He's their go-to possession, key drive, game's tight. You just have to understand that Nick Dembski, he can hurt you in just between the 35s. But if they're in a situation where they're behind the clock, they need a play, they need a big first down, that's when they're going to go to him. And that's when Zach's going to look for him. He's the ultimate security blanket for Zach Collaros. He always has been, and he's so good. But again, you just have to understand what situation and which guys you need to look for in certain situations, and when they need a play. So if you're in the fourth quarter and Winnipeg's down by a few points, it's then you've got to understand where Nick Dembski is on the field at all times, right? You can double team him or whatever you want, but the problem is they've got a lot of other weapons, right? They got Kenny Lawler. Again, you don't want to let Brady Oliveira play. And Brady Oliveira, if you look at the last two games, he was used a lot, not necessarily just as a running back. He had great success up against the Riders in the passing game, too, just sort of running out into the flats or bubbling out. So you can't forget about him. You just got to understand when they're going to look to Nick Dembski versus just where their offense normally wants to operate.
As a guy that's been in there, as one played, Luc, is experience that important in something like this?
Totally. Absolutely. Experience is everything right now. You have to lean on your veterans in the playoffs. The young guys get it. They'll be there to make plays, right? But it's the veteran presence you need. It's the moments where the clock seems to not be moving at all, and the moments where the clock seems to be moving too fast, right? That's what these playoff games are about. Because you'll find yourself either ahead or behind in certain junctures of the game. The last 3 minutes of the game just feels like the weight of the world's on your shoulders, and that's when you need to lean on the vets, and that's when you need to lean on the guys that have been there and done that. I think that you can say whatever you want about my career personally. The one thing that you can't say is that I didn't know that the playoffs were a different animal. I felt like I played my best football in the playoffs, and that was because I owed it to the team. I was a vet. I needed to step up, and there's guys there that understand that, like Micah Johnson, and you lean on those guys in these moments. Right, because again, it's going to be your vets that make the plays for you, and also support and float the team when, again, the clock is moving really fast or it's not moving at all.
So, talking about your career, what's your favorite road playoff game that comes to mind when you start thinking about, going into someone else's barn?
2007 BC. We were really excited to go and play and beat them. We felt like we were going to stomp them. Right? We didn't talk about it in the media, but we felt like we were better than them, and so I heard that in 2010 against Calgary in the Western Final. Again, we thought we played really well at the end of the year. We felt like we had done exactly what we needed to do in terms of getting to the Western Final, and we felt like Calgary, they were a bunch of front runners, and if we hit them in the mouth enough by that fourth quarter, we would get the leg up, and again, it was a great game. Jarrell Freeman had to play out of his mind that game, but again, those are memorable moments that nobody can take from me, man. And you know, they're just and that's what it's all about. You're going to leave this time and period as a member of the 2024 team, and you're going to have memories that are just sort of etched in your mindset for the rest of your life. I always tell the guys, hey, like, you know, memories are a home that you build to live in once you're older, and that home how that home is built is whether, you know, you come in there as a family versus a team. And I think that the Riders got on the bus and the plane as a family today.
I know, Luke, that your compadre there, Dave Thomas, is a superstitious guy. He hasn't cut his hair. He's not shaving. Yeah. He's going to be wearing the right clothes. Any superstitious stuff from Luc Mullinder or no? No, not. Well, I mean, when I was a player, absolutely, I wouldn't put a certain shoe on. But yeah, I have no impact on this game. I'm here to be a fan and bring the game to Rider Nation on the radio. But yeah, I don't need any superstitions, man. I'm just excited for this team. I know what these guys are going through, and they should be pumped up, man, because they worked really hard to get here. And what do you got? You got a prediction for the Huskies and Rams up inside? Like, talk about an awesome football day, right?
Yeah, I got the Rams pulling that out in an upset. Actually, no, I don't. I'm lying. I got the Huskies. I've always thought the Huskies. So I was just playing the Regina kid. Yeah. You know? No, I got the Huskies pulling it out against the Rams, and I got the Riders here tomorrow.
All right, buddy. Have a good night. Get a good rest. She's a big one tomorrow. It'll be exciting. We'll be listening.
Oh, dude, I'm so excited about this. I can't wait, man. It's gonna be fantastic.
Yeah. Hopefully, we're doing this next week when you're in Vancouver, British Columbia.
Right. I'll see you boys later.
Okay. See you, Luke.
See you, Luke.
Luke and Dave hit the airwaves at 4:30. We start everything here at 2:30 with Wes and Justin, and then kickoff tomorrow, 5:30, right here on the home of the Saskatchewan Roughrider, 620 CKRM. Welcome back to the All New SportsCage. We talked Friday Night Lights. We kind of ran down the high school football provincial championships going on, 6-a-side, 9-a-side, and 12-a-side. We talked about this. Joining us back on the cage here, you see him right there, head coach of the Campbell Tartans. It's something, Kelly Adams, that last week we talked, you guys in Leboldus, and I'm finding out, okay, Leboldus has been a young team. You guys have this athletic quarterback. People are giving me feedback back and forth. People were at the game last week, said it was an amazing football game. Like, really, what you would want in a city final.
Yeah, it was a great game. I just think of how many people were there. Like, I heard the number like 1,700, which is pretty cool for high school sports. But yeah, it was a really good game. Like, they're tough and well coached, and I mean, I knew that they would be there to win it for sure. And yeah, we just got maybe a few more older, more experienced players, and that might have been the difference. Provincial final against St. Joe's tomorrow, Kelly. You know, like how is the week gone prep wise? Like, how is it different now preparing for a team which I'm sure you got tape on, but a team you don't see all that much of, right? Obviously coming from Saskatoon. Yeah, it's very different. I mean, we got all the game film, all their games from the entire season, but it almost feels like different styles, like watching how they play in Saskatoon, and it just seems a little more run heavy. Some of the teams in Saskatoon are, you know, not really spreading them out and passing that much. So a little bit different preparation there, and just not knowing, right? I've been coaching this league for a long time, so every time we play a team, I'm like, yeah, Leboldus, 2nd and 10, they're going to run a flag to the number 2 on the boundary, right? So just that familiarity makes it a little more difficult, but exciting too. Something new. Yeah, I was just going to say, for you and the coaching staff,
it must make it to you, let's use the word fun, because it's kind of hey, it's football. It's that chess match, right? Okay, they might change this. We're going to change this.
Yeah, absolutely. And I said to the kids in the offensive meeting the other day, I'm like, usually I go into the game and like, I got a pretty good idea, right? 2nd and 10 midfield, like this is what they're going to do. And I just had to reconcile for myself. Like, I don't know what these guys are going to do. We need to be prepared for a few different options. And, especially with our quarterback, he requires all kinds of different schemes and plans. And so how teams play us might be a bit of a shock. But we got, a few different strategies, and we're ready for a few different scenarios.
Your quarterback, we talked about him, athletic kid, and I've heard from other people, runs around. I don't want to say erratic, but you don't know what he's going to do. Obviously, for St. Joe's on the other side, that's tough to game plan against.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like they can't let him run all over the place, and just like how are they going to do it, right? And there's some different strategies on, how you can keep a guy in the pocket, and some teams might try and spy him, right? But I don't know who's fast enough to keep up with them, so I don't know if they're listening. That's probably but yeah, I mean, he just wants to make plays, right? And it's not like he's selfish or anything. He's just trying to win football games, and whatever it takes is what he'll do.
Is there any home field advantage? Like, Mosaic's a huge place, right? So I don't think sound's going to be an issue. But is there any home field advantage, just you guys knowing the surroundings maybe a bit?
I think so, for sure. I was saying the other day to someone, like, I've been out on that field, dozens of times over the years, and it's cool. Every single time you walk out of that tunnel and, you look up and you look around, and our kids obviously will have a bit more of a sense of that, and they'll be there plenty early, I'm sure, warming up, but just being familiar with that and being used to those lights and all those things, I think it is a bit of an advantage for us.
We talked last week about the message that you tell the kids with a chance to win a city championship, which is huge, and then that never goes away. They'll be talking about it when they're our age with buddies on the team, right? What's the message with a chance to win a provincial championship?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for us is at this point, and I'm sure the kids are a little tired and beat up, and I know I'm tired. I look about 85 years old right now, but we got to finish it, right? Like, that's kind of the message. Is we've gone, I think we've had 40, today will be the 49th practice, workout sessions, film, all those things. So, we put in so much time, there's no point in stopping now. Like, we got to get all the way across the finish line.
Kelly Adams, head coach of the Campbell's Tartans, taking on St. Joe's tomorrow, 1 o'clock, Mosaic Stadium, Provincial High School Football Championship. Kelly, thanks so much for taking time. I know you're a busy guy. You don't look 85. We'll maybe go 35, somewhere in that ballpark. Best of luck, man. Super exciting for the coaches and for the players. And again, thanks for taking some time.
Hey, happy to do it. Thanks for having me on. Appreciate it.
Right on. All right, get out there, Mosaic, tomorrow if you can. 1 p.m. kickoff. If you're not watching the Huskies Rams, and then getting ready for the Rider game. There's so much football, and the weather is going to be amazing, absolutely amazing for high school football. All the provincial championships. It is the All New SportsCage. We are the home of sports in Saskatchewan. If you're watching that stream, SportsCage.com on YouTube. Hammer that subscribe button. We'll be back. Funny text here. We talked about the Grey Cup going to Calgary in 2026. You go to the Grey Cup for the game like you go to Calgary Stampede for the rodeo. Very true.
Yeah.
Very, very true. It is the All New SportsCage. Friday, winding it into the weekend. Daren Anderson and Brandon Basler joining me. Okay, let's get into bless you, Colson. Hockey here. Brandon Regina tonight at the Brandt Center in Moose Jaw. Lethbridge is in town. It's basically it around here, WHL-wise. SJHL, the Southie Mainline Chrysler Worth the Drive game from Benny Walchuk was in Estevan. It's tonight. Melville, Estevan goes. Yorkton's in the Battlefords. Melfort's in Flin Flon. Notre Dame's at La Ronge. CIS hockey at Cooperator Center. The Dinos are in town to take on the Cougar Men at 7 p.m. Senior hockey. So, DA, you know enough about it. You're brother was a player, and you get that Saskatchewan. The Monday Nooner podcast, we released, Brandon and I, our first senior hockey top 10 show this week. But we just went with teams that were playing because what was your count? You tallied everything up this week. Give how the scope of senior hockey in Saskatchewan, how big it is.
Yeah, so across the province, there's 14 leagues. A couple teams from out of province that play in Saskatchewan-based leagues. I think there's 3 teams from Alberta and 1 from Manitoba that play in a Saskatchewan-sanctioned league. But of those 14 leagues, there's 117 teams registered for senior men's hockey in the province of Saskatchewan. So you do a little math on that, at approximately 20 bodies per team. That's over 2,000 players in the province. And then you think about all the fans and volunteers and scorekeepers and managers. It's thousands of people that are entrenched in it every weekend.
And there's obviously a lot of people, we get texts and especially CKRM, but in the Sports Cage, from small towns. And these rinks, like when Raymore fired up, was it last year, back again, like it was just needed for the rink. Like almost like you need that anchor tenant of a rink. Cupar, Indian Head, Strasbourg, and Ituna formed the Prairie Men's League.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
The just 4 teams, but there's no import rule. But the rinks needed, like that Strasbourg rink is awesome. Cupar rink, awesome. Indian Head, I don't remember.
Got a brand new rink.
Ituna's got a brand new rink. Avalanche, Ituna's football team. They went the hat up there in the Sports Cage studio here. So you think about, so people are always like that don't know senior hockey. Like, what is senior hockey? Senior hockey. Well, don't get it mixed up with beer league hockey, like what I played last night in Balgoni at 10:45 or whatever it was, and I'm sore from. This is senior hockey are WHL guys, pro guys that are back, Europe and North America, CIS guys, SJHL guys, and then just some local weapons that maybe didn't want to go play, maybe didn't get the chance, that they're just back playing locally. Like, how do you explain it to people?
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Obviously, most of these leagues, you do get guys that come out from the cities and such, but it's so dependent on the locals and the minor. You need that generation of like midget kids, bantam kids that graduate from minor hockey and play senior hockey. Those are the kids that really fill out the rosters and make it a go. And you get these other guys maybe that come out from the city and play in these towns. But to your point, it's truly the lifeblood of these small towns. A lot of them, there's not much going on, but you can have a senior game and then a wing night or a social after. It's kind of, it's the community entertainment.
It builds the community. It's the hub. And like you said, the rink then becomes even that much more important. It gives you a reason to go there, get a burger, get a beverage, go watch the guy that you went to high school with out there still pounding bodies. Like, that's to me is like, you guys have talked, some of the guys that are pushing my age are still playing. I'm like, you're kidding me? Don't touch me. I'm not going to hit into the boards.
Cool story from this past weekend. Meadow Lake, Saskatchewan, their goalie was tied up. I don't know if he had a wedding or whatever. He was unable to attend. So their backup goalie is 38. Plays a little bit, getting up there though. So number 1 goalie out of town. They need another goalie to fill out the roster. They call up 55-year-old Rick Dowlin, who used to play in the 90s and early 2000s. He won a Senior A provincial championship in 2005. Okay, 55 years old. He dresses for the game, hasn't played in like 3 years or something like that, but used to be a very good goalie. So the 38-year-old, De Bruin, who's starting, he was having some hip issues, so he was a little worried he wasn't going to make it through the game. So it turns out after 2 periods, he's got to give himself the hook. The 55-year-old comes in. They were down by 1 goal, come back and win, and it's a feel-good story, right? Like, it's awesome.
Like, 55.
Like, I'm in my low to mid 30s and I'm sore after a good skate. Like,
I just
55.
have to go down in the butterfly and stay there. Just like, please hit me.
Yeah, it's and then the other thing too is when provincials. So provincials is like, you got to explain, it's like a whole almost separate ball of wax. It's a whole separate game. So your team needs to apply to Hockey Saskatchewan that you want to go play provincials, and then it's all based on population. So that's where a lot of times 2 teams, like we've talked on the Monday Nooner, we've interviewed Kelly Chase, Barry Melrose, Tony Twist, Darren Kimball. Like, all these guys from small towns, Saskatchewan, Corey Sarich, Brett McNabb from the Las Vegas Golden, Jeff Odgers, that they all grew up in these small towns, and senior hockey was what they wanted to play.
Bernie Federko. Remember him talking about Foam Lake?
Yeah. That was
a kid.
NHL.
Or they got to play up when they were in Bantam or whatever, get called up to play with their dad and his buddies, the senior hockey league. It's, yeah.
A lot of first beers drank as, 15 getting called up. It's wild. So it's like the thing that bothers me, I guess, is when people get beer league hockey mixed up with senior, and then the provincials. Like last year, we saw Round Lake playing out of Ochapowace, and that rink is unbelievable. They had a bit of a wagon. They put in teams, a lot of imports, a lot of guys coming in. Colton Yellowhorn, Dwight King, former
Stanley Cup champion,
two-time Stanley Cup champion. John Nasty Marasti was out there. A lot of college guys, the Bears. So then they played Lumsden, and we were both at the game.
But the unique thing about them too is the crowd that they brought with them. Yeah. Right? You had to be in Lumsden 2 hours before the game to get in the rink. Wild.
Yeah.
Like I watched. What was the one guy that they brought in? Anyways, I saw him walking from on the other side of the drugstore in Lumsden. He parked way down there, and he was like walking with his bag to the rink because he wasn't even like, it's an hour and 45 minutes before the game, and this guy's walking through town with his bag because he just couldn't get there. It's crazy. So everything's starting up. We did, like I said, on the Monday Nooner podcast, and we're going to have a senior hockey report starting here on the Sports Cage as well. Not everyone, but this is the weekend that things kind of really start firing, right?
Yeah, after this weekend, I think pretty much every league is going to be underway tonight. Tomorrow, a lot of the action gets going. I think about half fired up in previous weekends, but a lot of stuff around Regina, right? Too, like there's Balgonie just 20 minutes out. I think they got a home game tonight. Lumsden's only 15-20 minutes from North Regina, so you don't have to go that far to watch some good hockey.
What do we got on the docket today? Like we have Josh Miller that joins us on the Nooner now. He's like the kind of senior hockey savant.
Oh, nice.
He's the Elliot Friedman of senior hockey. He's like working the phones. I don't know if he's got two phones. If he's two-phone guy.
Cell phone. Balgonie's home tonight. 8:15. Selby's in town. Raymore. You talked about them coming back. Just been crazy, the support they've been getting. They're home to the Bethune Bulldogs tonight. Lumsden home to Milestone. So all those tonight around Regina. I like the Southeast. That's where I spend a lot of my time for work. Some big games out there. Carlisle tonight, I believe, is home to Oxbow.
That's the Big Six. We call it the Big Sexy.
The working man's league. Work the oil field all day. Go home, quick bite to eat, and go slam some bodies in the Big Six.
Moosomin home to Mydale. Moosomin's really good, aren't they?
They are, yeah.
That's a good rink?
Beautiful rink, yeah.
It's got a bar upstairs.
Yeah, overlooking. It's like a sports bar. Jerseys all over, overlooking the game. Bunch of beers on tap. Yeah, it's good.
It's kind of like the studio. Nice. Carnduff Red Devils home to Moosomin.
Yeah, tomorrow.
Tomorrow,
Saturday. Yeah.
So Carnduff, they're usually pretty good too. Like we talk about them quite a bit. Just the support though, and then this year La Flèche came back in the Nauticue Hockey League, the La Flèche Flyers. So they hadn't been in it's like 15, 14 years, but just these towns banding together and just the right group of guys like Balgonie last year. And then it's like, hey, let's get everybody together. Let's get the team back. And then La Flèche, then you got to get gear. And it's not just like the old days where you needed jerseys and socks. And even socks were dicey back then. Now it's like you need shells. Some teams are going gloves and helmets.
Wow.
Like, you gotta look good. It's wild. So yeah, senior hockey out there. The Sports Cage is going to be all over it. Like I said, Brandon and I, we had the Monday Nooner podcast. Who was the top team? Who were Kenaston still?
Kenaston. Anyone listening up north that follows the U of S Huskies men's program, who's always good. The Kenaston Blizzards are like a U of S Huskies post-career, like that's where they all go, right? And the band gets back together from the Huskies in Kenaston. They won provincials in their league last year, so they're the consensus number one, I'd say.
Like here's a name that some people might remember. He played Saskatoon Blades, and he's played in Kenaston now for a few years. He a little bit older. He's 43 as far as senior hockey goes, but Garrett Bembridge, like he played 4 years with the Saskatoon Blades, Hartford Wolfpack, lots of AHL, Syracuse, Portland, Idaho, and then he went over to Europe. Like, that's just the kind of guys that are playing. And now there's some young guys, though. Oh, some of these young guys can buzz. Who was the Regina Pat that supposedly was in the roster? That's just the guy, like, he didn't play last week. Logan Pyatt?
Oh, yeah, you're right. That's what Millsy said, yeah.
Logan Pyatt's on somebody's team. So, yeah, we'll be covering it here on the Cage, and getting you up to date on all that with our friends from the Monday Nooner podcast. Other hockey news, if you're a Toronto Maple Leafs fan out there, allegedly Austin Matthews it banged up pretty bad. He's on the injured reserve. So if you got that, Winnipeg won hockey wise. What do you think of the Winnipeg Jets?
I love what they're doing. Like, I'm an Oilers fan, you know that, but I love seeing Winnipeg succeed. I just wish they're not selling out, and it's like 13,000 seats, and it shouldn't bother me because I'm not a fan or anything, but you just hope that the success leads to ticket sales and they stay in Winnipeg, because if you're not selling out when you're 13 wins in a row, I don't know if you ever will.
Over under 10 years, Jets are there.
10 years more?
Yeah, I think in under 10 years, the Jets will be gone.
Yeah, that's where I'd put my money. Unfortunately, it's a tough business. Like, it's not
you're strong enough. You're a numbers guy. Like,
they don't have the corporate like sponsors and stuff there either, and it's you hope for the best. And I love what they're doing. Second best ever start, like second team to win 13 out of 14 or something like that. It's crazy.
Red Wings, Maple Leafs, 6:00 tonight. Penguins, Caps, Sid and Ovi going. Sid, I read today on Twitter that Sid's the all-time face-off leader now in the NHL history.
Oh wow!
I didn't even know that was a thing.
Cool to see what both of those guys are still doing too. Yeah. Like, I heard a stat the other day that last week they were both on the NHL 3 Stars of the Week. It was the first time ever that's happened. Isn't that hard to believe? 20 years they've both been the best players, and they're still getting it done.
It's crazy. Golden Knights, Kraken. There is Saskatchewan flavor in that game. Yeah, you're a big Knights guy. Brett McNabb from Davidson, Saskatchewan. Braden McNabb, yeah.
B. McNabb.
Braden McNabb, Golden Knights. And then the Kraken have Eberle, Stevenson.
Yeah, their coach, Jess Campbell. From Rocanville, assistant coach with the Seattle Kraken.
That's wild what she's doing.
Like, that's excellent.
And she's on the bench. Like, yeah, I was watching the other day, like, the guys are listening to her. Like, she obviously would know her stuff.
She's there for a reason. She wasn't just put there, that's for sure.
Wild and Ducks is the other late game in the NHL tonight. Tomorrow, Stars and Jets. It's an afternoon contest. That's a test.
Yeah, right before the game at Princess Auto Stadium or whatever they're calling it now, too. I looked at that because I was looking to see if they were sold out for that game out of curiosity, and they weren't by any stretch. But then I got thinking, well, the Bombers have got a game that afternoon.
So funny enough, at the Rider game last week, in the bathrooms in the north end zone anyways, somebody had a poster up. They were doing a bus to go watch the NHL game and then go watch the Riders play Winnipeg.
Genius.
Really?
Yeah, just like somebody, did up their own little thing and you're getting a bus together.
That's a great idea.
So that game's at like 1:00, I think, the Jets game?
So it says where I'm looking 2 p.m. I think that's our time.
Okay, so you got 3.5 hours before the kickoff of the football game?
They're on the same time as us right now, Winnipeg, yeah.
So 3.5.
I didn't know someone's doing a bus.
Yeah. I wasn't didn't look like one of the professional, tour. It looked like Daren Anderson doing a PowerPoint little thing, printing it off.
I saw that.
Yeah, our buddies were like, hey man, can we make this happen? But it's super busy this weekend. But yeah, great idea for people to head down to my least favorite city, Winnipeg, and partake in a couple of sporting events.
You could just stay. I think Bruce Springsteen's there next week too. Just make a little trip out of Winnipeg.
Just stay in Winnipeg.
Just stay. What are you staying for, the boss?
One more, so sorry, before we get going here, I'd be remiss. Cougars tonight, basketball, home opener.
That's supposed to be one
ladies at 6 and men at 8. Great entertainment. If great facility for it. Bring the kids. They have some beverages, some snacks. It's a lot of fun.
Can you drink there? Is that licensed?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
I heard it's one of the best kept secrets in Regina for entertainment.
It is. And it's, you can get some games, especially when U of S comes down, get the student section going a little rowdy. A lot of Rams who are going to take care of business tomorrow will go out and support the teams there in the winter. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I got to take in a game. Yeah. So what time's tip off?
6 o'clock for the ladies, so you got to get there soon, but and then 8 o'clock for the men right after. So one ticket, you get in, you watch both games.
Oh,
yeah,
beer and
fantastic.
Popcorn.
Yeah,
got to have popcorn at a basketball game. You know where you have to drag me to this year? Luther Invitational.
Done.
I've never been. Yeah,
that's great.
Got to go to that. Football tomorrow right here on the network. CKRM 2. We have the Hardy Cup. Rams and Huskies, 12:45 pregame show with Brendan McGuire and Derek Bidwell, 1 o'clock kickoff. And then the Riders, everything starts 2:30 here with the pregame show with Justin and Wes. 4:30, Luke and Dave join, and then 5:30 is kickoff network-wide for the West final. Predictions?
Riders by 3. I'm not sure on the score. I don't really care about the score, but I think the Riders get it done.
Yeah, I think it's 23-19. That's my gut feel, Riders.
So
in a tight one.
Because they have the over-under. They have it at, Daren and I were talking about it earlier, 48. I don't want to touch that.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a slugfest, like you guys talked about. I think it's going to be relatively low scoring. It's going to be close. I like what DA said. I think that could be close.
I'm going to take the Riders on the money line. I'm not even playing the spread. I'm going money line. But the other game, Toronto is a 1.5 point underdog. I think Toronto wins.
Yeah, I'm going to go against Luke. I think Toronto's rolling. I think that's a big part of this point of year. I think they're going to take it.
I agree. Road teams, I think, are going to get it done.
Yeah.
Okay, boys, thanks for doing this. This is fun.
Thank you, Brian.
The 5-pack. We have one more little segment here. Dave Thomas is going to come in with the round the horn. Go Riders. Everything is locked and loaded for tomorrow. I'm back on Tuesday. No show on Monday. Thank you very much. Go Green.
I'm Dave Thomas, and it's time for your baseball report for Shore-D Generators. Keep the power in your hands with an automatic standby generator from Shore-D Generators, the standby generator experts. While Major League Baseball general managers met for the first time this offseason this week in San Antonio, and while there was no new Jays news per se from the meetings, there was some interesting headlines, like Los Angeles Dodgers general manager Brandon Gomes, who says they're going to let the rehab process play out when it comes to two-way star Shohei Ohtani and the prospects of him pitching next season. Now, Ohtani had a procedure on Tuesday to repair a torn labrum in his left shoulder. It was an injury sustained while sliding during a stolen base attempt in Game 2 of the World Series. Now, he didn't pitch this year while recovering from Tommy John elbow surgery last year. We'll have to wait and see if the Dodgers will actually let him pitch. Meantime, speaking of the Dodgers and hurlers, 3-time Cy Young Award winner Clayton Kershaw writes in an Instagram post that he's planning to crush some rehab in his recovery from surgery on both his foot and knee. The 36-year-old has played 17 seasons for the Dodgers, but he was sidelined throughout the run to their World Series victory this year. More pitching news from the West Coast. Right-hander Kyle Hendricks and the Los Angeles Angels have agreed to a $2.5 million one-year contract. Now, Hendricks had spent his entire big league career of 11 seasons with the Chicago Cubs, and he was the last Cubs player remaining from their 2016 World Series squad. You'll remember that team as they were the first Cubs team to win a world title since 1908. Lastly, San Diego manager Mike Schultz and the Padres have agreed to a 2-year contract extension through the 2027 season. San Diego went 93-69 this season, finishing second in the NL West, 5 games behind the LA Dodgers. And that's your baseball report. For Shore-D Generators, keep the power in your hands with an automatic standby generator from Shore-D Generators, the standby generator experts. I'm Dave Thomas.